everyone, and welcome back to English Genius Lab. I'm Lexi.
And I'm Noah. Today we're talking about something really important. Staying motivated when you feel tired while learning English.
That's right. Noah, I think every English learner has those days where they just feel exhausted, like they want to give up.
Absolutely, and that's totally normal.
Exactly. Learning a language is like running a marathon, not a sprint. Some days you're going to feel tired, and that's okay.
Right, so today we want to give you some practical tips to help you stay motivated and keep moving forward, even when you feel like giving up.
First, let's talk about why we feel tired when learning English. Noah, what do you think are the main reasons?
Well, I think one big reason is that our brains are working really hard. When you're learning English, you're constantly thinking, translating, and trying to remember new words and grammar rules.
That's so true.
Your brain gets tired just like your muscles do when you exercise. It's called mental fatigue.
Exactly. And another reason is that sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves. We want to be perfect, and when we make mistakes, we feel frustrated.
Oh yeah, perfectionism is a big problem.
Right. And also, we might not see progress as quickly as we want to. Learning English takes time, and sometimes it feels like we're not improving fast enough.
That's such a good point. So let's talk about some practical solutions. Lexi, what's your number one tip for dealing with mental fatigue?
Take breaks. This is so important. If you study English for 3 hours straight, your brain is going to get tired. Instead, try studying for 20 or 30 minutes, then take a 5-minute break.
Yes, and during that break, don't think about English at all.
Exactly. Go for a walk, drink some water, listen to music in your native language. Give your brain a rest.
Another great tip is to change your study routine. If you usually read grammar books, try watching English videos instead. If you always do listening exercises, try writing in a journal.
Oh, that's brilliant. Variety keeps things interesting.
Right. When you do the same thing every day, it gets boring, and boredom leads to tiredness.
Now let's talk about perfectionism. This is something I see with so many of my students. They're afraid to make mistakes, and this fear makes them tired and stressed.
Yeah, it's exhausting to try to be perfect all the time.
Exactly. Here's what I want you to remember. Mistakes are your friends. Every mistake teaches you something new. Native speakers make mistakes too.
That's so true. I make mistakes in English all the time, and English is my native language.
See? So don't worry about being perfect. Focus on communicating and expressing yourself. That's what language is for.
Now, let's talk about consistency. This is super important. It's better to study English for 15 minutes every day than for 3 hours once a week.
Absolutely. Consistency is like water on a rock. A little bit every day will eventually make a big difference.
I love that analogy. And here's a practical tip for consistency. Make English part of your daily routine.
Right. Maybe you listen to an English podcast while you have breakfast, or you read English news articles during your lunch break.
Exactly. When English becomes part of your routine, it doesn't feel like extra work.
And here's another tip. Start small. If you're feeling tired and unmotivated, don't try to study for hours. Just do something tiny. Read one paragraph, learn 3 new words, or watch a 5-minute video.
Yes, small actions lead to big results over time.
And often, once you start with something small, you feel motivated to do a little bit more.
That's a great point. Now, let's talk about finding motivation. Lexi, what helps you stay motivated when learning new things?
For me, it's remembering my why. Why am I learning this? What will I be able to do when I improve? I think about my goals and dreams.
That's so important. Maybe you want to get a better job or travel to English-speaking countries or watch movies without subtitles.
Exactly. When you remember why you started, it gives you energy to continue.
Another motivating thing is to celebrate small wins. Did you understand the conversation in a movie today? Celebrate that. Did you successfully order food in English? That's amazing.
Oh, I love this. We're so focused on big goals that we forget to celebrate the small victories along the way.
Right. Keep a journal of your progress. Write down new words you learned, conversations you had, or compliments you received about your English.
That's such a good idea. When you feel discouraged, you can read your journal and remember how much you've improved.
Now, let's talk about building fluency. This is where a lot of people get frustrated because fluency takes time.
Yes, and people often have unrealistic expectations. They think they should speak like a native speaker after 6 months of study.
Right, but fluency isn't about perfection. It's about being able to communicate effectively and naturally.
Exactly. And here's a secret. You don't need to know every word in English to be fluent. Native speakers don't know every word either.
That's so true. Focus on learning the most common words and phrases first. These will help you in most conversations.
And practice speaking even if you're alone. Talk to yourself in the mirror, describe what you're doing during the day, or have imaginary conversations.
Yes, don't wait until you feel ready to start speaking. You become fluent by speaking, not by waiting.
And remember, fluency is not about speed, it's about expressing yourself clearly and confidently, even if you speak slowly.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about what to do on those really tough days when you just don't want to study at all.
Oh, we all have those days. First, be kind to yourself. It's okay to have bad days. Don't feel guilty about it.
Right, and on those days, do something really easy and fun with English. Maybe watch a funny YouTube video, listen to your favorite English song, or read a comic book.
Exactly. The key is to keep English in your life even when you don't feel like studying. Sometimes just having English around you is enough.
Now, Lexi, I want to talk about something really important, the different types of motivation, because not all motivation is the same, right?
Oh, that's such a good point. So there are two main types of motivation. The first is called extrinsic motivation. That's when you're learning English because of external rewards or pressures.
Right, like maybe your job requires you to speak English, or you need to pass an English test to get into university, or your parents are pushing you to learn.
Exactly. And then there's intrinsic motivation. That's when you're learning because you genuinely enjoy it or because it fulfills something deep inside you.
Like maybe you love English movies and want to understand them better, or you're fascinated by different cultures, or you just find the language beautiful and interesting.
Now, here's the thing. Intrinsic motivation tends to be much more sustainable. When you're learning because you love it, you're less likely to feel tired or give up.
Absolutely. But here's a reality. Most people start with extrinsic motivation. You might be learning English for work or school, and that's totally okay.
Right. The goal is to gradually find ways to make your learning more intrinsically motivated. Find English content you actually enjoy. Maybe it's cooking videos, travel blogs, or comedy shows.
That's brilliant advice. Now, let's talk about something that really drains people's energy, the fear of making mistakes in conversation. Lexi, I bet you see this all the time.
Oh my goodness, yes, this is huge. I have students who understand almost everything, but they're terrified to speak because they might say something wrong. So they just stay quiet.
And that's so exhausting. You're using all your mental energy to avoid making mistakes instead of using it to communicate. It's like trying to walk on a tightrope instead of just walking normally.
That's such a perfect analogy. So here's what I tell my students. Start with safe spaces. Practice speaking with people who are patient and supportive. Maybe find a language exchange partner online or join a beginner's conversation group.
Great advice. And here's a mindset shift that really helps. Think of yourself as a detective, not a student. When you make a mistake and someone corrects you, you've just discovered valuable information.
I love that. Another confidence builder is to practice common conversation starters at home, like, how was your weekend? Or, what do you think about this weather? When you're prepared, you feel less anxious.
That's so practical. And speaking of conversation partners, let's talk about how to find people to practice with. This is something a lot of learners struggle with, especially if they don't live in an English-speaking country.
Absolutely. The internet is amazing for this. There are apps like HelloTalk or Tandem where you can find language exchange partners. You help someone with your native language and they help you with English.
Yes, and don't forget about local opportunities. Many cities have conversation clubs at libraries, community centers, or coffee shops. Even international students at nearby universities often want to practice English too.
Great point. And here's a tip for when you do find a practice partner. Come prepared with topics to discuss. Maybe share a news article, talk about your hobbies, or ask them about their culture. Having a plan makes conversation flow more naturally.
That's excellent advice. Now, here's a frustration I hear about constantly. I understand everything when I listen to English, but when I try to speak, nothing comes out right. Lexi, this drives people crazy.
Oh, this is so common and so frustrating. But here's the thing, listening and speaking use different parts of your brain. It's like being able to read music perfectly, but struggling to play the piano. They're related skills, but they need separate practice.
That's such a helpful way to think about it. So what can people do? I'd say start by practicing along with videos or podcasts. Shadow the speaker, try to match their rhythm and pronunciation, even if you don't understand every word.
Exactly. And also practice retelling stories. After you watch an English video or read an article, try to summarize it out loud in your own words. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get those speaking muscles working.
Great strategy. We actually received some questions from listeners about this topic. Lexi, here's one. I've been studying English for 2 years, but I still feel like a beginner when I speak. Am I doing something wrong?
This breaks my heart because this person is doing nothing wrong. 2 years feels like a long time to you, but in language learning terms, you're still in the early stages. Think about it. Children take years to become fluent in their native language.
Exactly. And research shows that it typically takes 5 to 7 years to become truly proficient in a second language. 2 years is actually a great foundation. The key is to focus on what you can do now compared to when you started.
That's so important to remember. Here's another question. I know I should study English every day, but I keep forgetting or finding excuses. How do I make it a real habit?
Oh, this is such a common struggle. The secret is habit stacking. Attach your English practice to something you already do every day. Like, after I drink my morning coffee, I'll watch a 5-minute English video.
That's brilliant, and make it ridiculously easy to start. Don't say, I'll study English for an hour. Say, I'll read one paragraph in English, or I'll learn 3 new words. Small habits build into bigger ones.
And remember, consistency beats intensity every time. 5 minutes every day is much better than 3 hours once a week. Your brain needs regular exposure to create those neural pathways.
So true. Here's one more question that really resonated with me. My friend started learning English at the same time as me, but she's progressing so much faster. I feel like giving up because I'm so slow.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Everyone learns at their own pace. Maybe your friend has more time to study, or maybe their native language is closer to English, or maybe they've studied other languages before. Your journey is unique.
Absolutely. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Keep a learning journal and write down your victories, no matter how small. Today, I understood a joke in English. I successfully asked for directions. These moments matter.
Beautiful advice. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave everyone with some perspective about this amazing journey you're on. Learning English is one of the most challenging and rewarding things you can do.
It really is. And here's something I want you to remember. Every expert was once a beginner. Every fluent speaker had days when they felt frustrated and tired. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is simply that they kept going.
And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to be great. You just have to be brave enough to keep trying. Every conversation, every mistake, every small victory is building your English skills.
So here's what I want you to do this week. Pick just one thing we discussed today. Maybe it's taking regular breaks, or finding a conversation partner, or starting a 5-minute daily habit. Just one thing. Focus on that and make it happen.
Perfect. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. There are millions of people around the world learning English just like you. Be part of that community, support each other, celebrate each other's wins.
That's all for today's episode of English Genius Lab. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every day you choose to continue learning English, you're investing in a brighter future for yourself.
From all of us here, keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and we'll see you next time. Until then, stay curious and keep learning.